Welcome to Pop Culture Roulette for all your pop culture needs. We're America's podcast.
Brains.
Here to eat your
Zombies.
brains.
Sorry, I stepped over your shit.
As always, I'm Nicholas. I'm joined by noted cow enthusiast Justin
Oh,
and serial killer apologist Jeremy.
me. I think you two were the ones a little more on that side of things. You were dishing out the stats like you had the. I don't know.
Like I had the full trading card set.
Exactly.
I wonder how much we could make off a serial killer trading card set.
Well, if you listen to an upcoming episode of Media Pod Smash, you'll find out how we feel about
Wow.
serial killer trading cards.
Yeah.
So, what is today? Today is day.
This is day 3.
Today's day. It'll be
technically
day, day 4.
This will be day 4 content.
Yes.
Right.
So far, so good.
Yeah. Still on track.
Yeah.
We're 4 for 4.
Yeah. Well, don't speak too soon. We still have to edit this.
I'm feeling good about it.
Okay, good.
I have good thoughts. So
Okay.
all right. Well, I guess before we get to the subject at hand, the spooky, because we are deep into Halloween. Well, not deep into Halloween season. We're fresh into the Halloween season.
Yes.
So we've got a special, as noted from our all bad attempts at making zombie brain jokes.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I'm just gonna cut my voice line out completely from that, so it sounds like you two just had the idea.
Well, I said zombies. I didn't say brains. So
Okay.
So
well, I'm still gonna
we,
cut my shit out.
We do
dare
have
you.
we
And
do
that.
have some definite zombie coverage coming here in a few minutes, but let's handle a little pop culture news right up top.
Okay.
The biggest news that came out of the week: Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh yeah.
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 So both of you heard the announcement then? Like this is not
Mhm.
No
Okay.
breaking news here.
well, I mean, I guess it's kind of breaking that in the podcast world, in our world anyway. But Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and I'm going to need one of you two younger people to explain where Kendrick Lamar fits into this group.
Don't ask me. I don't know.
I'm sure he was just influenced by a lot of these people.
I mean,
He's a
I
rapper.
mean, I gotta say, this is the first halftime show in a long time that I'm at least intrigued.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. We're
I don't
like,
necessarily-
well, this isn't gonna suck.
yeah. So like, it's like, all right, who was last year? Last year was.
Oh, I don't even remember. We walked away.
Wasn't it like Bruno Mars?
No, it was the
Oh,
weekend.
the weekend.
It was
That's right,
fucking
yeah.
awful.
That's right. Yeah, that was really bad.
I use that time to get snacks.
Yeah, that is true. Then the year before was J-Lo and Shakira.
Oh, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
If you put
better
it on
than-
mute.
Well, yeah, that is
Yeah,
true.
you didn't need to hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really been a while since there's been one going into it where I haven't been like, well, this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
It's somebody's gonna wear their thumb out and get carpal tunnel on that red button though. On the
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this though. I like a lot of these artists. So
Same.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't think you're gonna find any of them on my iPod, but I'm not like I don't hate them.
Yeah.
So, I don't really honestly know a lot by Mary J. Blige. Like I'm obviously been aware of her for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then I know nothing about Kendrick Lamar. I could not name a single song he's ever done.
He's
Yeah,
got some really
I
good
think I'm in the
shit.
same boat.
I mean, and of the rest of them, I'm definitely well more versed in Eminem.
Hmm.
But I have heard Snoop a few times, and Dr. Dre has obviously been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So is Snoop.
Yeah, that is true.
The only one of those I've seen live in concert.
Oddly
Oh,
enough,
yeah.
yes, the only one I have also seen live in concert.
Project Revolution.
Yep.
Lollapalooza,
Oh, nice. Okay.
where
Sweet.
Snoop opened up for. He was in between Korn and Tool.
Interesting.
I think he was on before Linkin Park and Korn.
See, that lineup makes a little more sense than going Korn, Snoop, Tool.
Yeah. They're
I
still
Like it would have.
both of them are still pretty odd.
I think it was the Used, Less Than Jake, Snoop Dogg, Linkin Park, Korn.
Right. Okay. So the first half makes like this is what I said with like when I saw Lollapalooza. Korn and Snoop make sense. Korn and Tool make sense. The three together
Yeah.
make no sense.
Yeah.
Right.
They made dollars.
Oh.
That was actually the last touring Lollapalooza because now it's just in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was because I mean, well, and the headliner, the closing band of the night, Tool wasn't even the closing band. Orbital was the closing band.
That's weird.
I would say 70 to 80% of the crowd left after Tool. Like it was just kind of like Orbital came out and they were like, "Oh, that's who this is. I'm getting the fuck out of here."
just hang out, let the traffic die down.
And I think that's what several of the people who were still there were. It was just like, can we see outside? Okay, looks like traffic's kind of died down a little bit now. We can.
Yeah.
Orbital, that's like a techno band?
Yeah, I mean that was one of the precursors of EDM. They weren't calling it EDM at the time.
Yeah.
They were probably just calling it techno.
Okay.
But, I mean, Orbital, Dust Brothers, people like that.
Sure.
Would have been all Moby at a certain point. You know, they would have all been, you know, where I don't know. I can't even name the EDM bands now. I mean, other than Steve Aoki. I mean,
hey, there you go.
Those would have been the bands that probably inspired Steve Aoki and all those people.
Right. Sure.
You know,
sure.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was such a weird because I think James and the Marley Brothers opened up for that. Like it was just like it was such, and I know that's what Lollapalooza was trying to do, like bring all of these cultures and all of these different bands together. But like, I mean, the first couple of Lollapaloozas that toured, like, yeah, they were slightly different genres, but at least they made sense. Like, you're digging from two different pools when you're putting Tool and Snoop on the same lineup. Like,
yeah,
there's not a lot of crossover there, you know?
Right, for sure.
Although it would have been very interesting to hear like Snoop come out and try to sing "Prison Sex" with Maynard James Keenan.
A mashup, hell yeah! I'd be into that.
Yeah, I mean, if he can have a cooking show and stuff with Martha Stewart, he can do anything.
True.
I'm waiting for the Snoop Martha sex tape to come out because
gross.
I didn't say I want to watch it. I'm just saying like it's gonna those two.
They are awfully close.
Yeah.
So basically, what we're saying that as the halftime show gets the pop culture roulette 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite
stamp.
quite the stamp of approval because we haven't seen it yet.
Right.
But you know, 2 thumbs up. Like we're okay with this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, still want Metallica or Weird Al, but you know, at least it's not a country band.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's true.
Or Foo Fighters. We also wouldn't mind the Foo Fighters. They're also on the list. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. There's a little AGT news.
Oh,
this podcast can't go without AGT news.
Now this is breaking news to me.
This is not a. This is a. This we're going to have a couple episode break of AGT content,
Mhm.
but AGT Extreme is official. It is going to happen. They haven't given us a release date yet. I'm assuming sometime later in the winter. Like it's going to be a shorter one, probably, probably come around November or sometime, maybe January. I don't know, but obviously they're going to have to knock it out of the park before the summer. The June, end of May, beginning of June starts up with the regular AGT. Terry Crews is back as the host.
Nice.
Good.
Simon Cowell is one of the 3 judges.
Of course.
I could give you 100 guesses, and you would never guess who the other 2 judges are.
Well, we've got time. All right,
Okay,
Justin, you
all right.
start.
Yeah. Oh, boy. I'm going to assume it's going to be 1 male, 1 female.
Okay, all right, you're at least on that track, and I'll narrow it down a little bit. Neither of them have ever been judges before, at least on this show.
Okay.
I'm going to say, I'm going to go with Lady Gaga. I don't know why I'm going with her. And Peyton Manning.
Okay. Neither one of them are anywhere close to being accurate. So,
All right.
I'm gonna say Chris Hardwick and Elizabeth Banks.
See, here's where you fall. Chris Hardwick was a guest judge, the one on one episode.
Damn.
So, yeah. No.
Joel McHale, because he does anything.
Yeah.
That is true. He does do anything. No, Travis Pastrana
All right.
and Nikki Bella.
I forgot that it was supposed to be an extreme thing. So
Yeah.
Travis Pastrana makes sense.
And I guess Nikki Bella makes sense because she's one of the Bella twins.
Yeah.
Oh.
One of those wrestlers.
Wrestlers.
Okay. I had to quick
If-
Google
if-
that one.
If I would have remembered it was extreme sports, I probably would have thought of that. Or I would have said Johnny Knoxville.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I could have given you 100 guesses each, and I don't know if either one of you would have come up with Travis Pastrana and Nikki Bella.
Definitely not. Considering I didn't even know who Nikki Bella was. Yeah.
Like,
True.
I mean, maybe eventually you would get to Travis Pastrana, but on Guess 1,000 when we're at a 4-hour podcast, like,
If you would have just said Nitro Circus, I'd have got it.
well, yeah, but and then I guess one more thing before we get to the meat of what you've come for.
Okay.
The brain of
Uh-huh.
Ah,
Scarlett Johansson and Disney have settled their lawsuit.
yes.
So
No court.
it looks like, I mean, no official word, but it looks like she's getting about a 40 mil payday.
Must be nice.
Yeah, and it also guarantees that Scarlett Johansson and Disney can and will work with each other in the future.
Right on.
So
I mean,
we're
wait till you get that Aniston money, Jeremy. Then you won't have to worry about that. 40 million.
Yeah.
40 million's nothing.
That's true. Yeah. I'm going to be
But,
wiping
I mean-
my ass with that soon.
I know a lot of people were mad when she filed the lawsuit because they're like, oh, she's just mad because she didn't want people to be able to see the movie at home and go to the. That's not what it was. It was Disney made a promise. They signed a contract saying that she would get X amount of money if the movie does X amount of business. And when at the last minute you change the deal and don't go, hey, here's what we'll offer you instead, Disney had to pay the piper,
Right.
Yeah.
and it's not, and quite honestly, it's Disney. They probably just went 40 million. Yeah. Intern, go check the couch. No, deep left cushion. No, that's 60 million. Get the 40 million. Oh, all right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Pick one of these briefcases. See how much you get.
Yeah. They're holding doors open with bags of money over there at the
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah, they're not, and especially the Marvel studio that's literally just printing money. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably like how many of these sacks can you fit in your trunk of your car? Whatever you fit, you get.
All I can pick up is 40 million at once. Well, that's what you get.
That's all you get.
But yeah, so I mean, I don't blame her for filing the lawsuit because that's a breach of contract, plain and simple, and that's why they had to settle. They knew she was right. So
Yeah, that's all.
so
it
and
takes.
it also guarantees that we will get more Black Widow possibly, but I guess there was another movie or two that she had signed up to do for the Disney that was maybe falling off the table. But now that they've settled the lawsuit, it's back on. I can't remember what those movies are, and I'm not going to take the time to Google
All right.
So
Mhm.
here we are
Yes.
in October, our favorite season. We're deep into Halloween territory.
Yeah,
This is day 4 of our 31-day content.
we've been prepping for this for quite a while.
We have been.
Jeremy's done a lot of work. Kudos to Jeremy.
has.
Thank you.
I mean, I think he might sleep through all of November.
Yeah, it's looking pretty likely at this point.
He might not actually make it to trick or treat on Halloween night because he'll be passed out.
He's gonna be
But-
He's gonna be sleeping outside with a bucket of candy.
Sign that just says "Take one." First kid's just like he's asleep, takes the whole bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna try to do it. Well, not try. We are gonna do a themed episode. Every
I was gonna say starting now.
starting now, we're gonna be doing a themed episode every week. This week, our theme, as if you hadn't guessed, is zombies. So,
Brains.
brains.
There's a crayon in my brain.
Oh, and then just move on because there are no. All right, so the first zombie movie was 1932.
Oh my goodness.
It was a little film called White Zombie with Bela Lugosi, who I'm sure will come up again in a couple weeks. Wait, well,
Spoilers.
well, I don't know if he will because I don't know if that one made the list.
I think it did. You might be one to look at week 3.
Week 3, okay.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't know what we're doing a week by week basis, so I just need to be told.
I don't seem to have that list.
Maybe
anymore.
not. Maybe I put it in wrong. Either way, it doesn't matter.
Well, now I'm worried because I know I wrote it down. Oh, okay, you're right. It is week 3.
Is it?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we will be talking about Bela Lugosi again. Man, I'm gonna have to do the harder subject for next week. All right. Well, at least I looked that up.
Good to know.
Good to know. Okay, so the first one was White Zombie. Now that was more of the Haitian voodoo curse style zombie, and really that's the beginning of the zombie mythos. Most of it comes from the voodoo, like the Haitian curse, that style of zombie. That's where it really kind of that the zombie as a movie trope or just a literary genre. That's where it starts from.
It did appear in some literature as far back as 1697, but they described them more as like a spirit instead of like the brain hungry cannibalistic creature.
Because when you're talking more about like the Haitian curse, there is a drug that they can give you that kind of turns you into a mindless zombie. And they
it's called a retail job.
But they would give people this drug to basically put them to work out on the plantations and keep them docile. And then of course that's kind of scary. So, but not scary enough. So you got to amp it up. You got to make it a little worse. That's where everything is. Like, all right, child molesters are scary, but you know what? They're even scarier when we kill them, give them knife gloves, and make them fight you in your dreams. Like that's even scarier.
Yeah.
Fast forward from 1932 to 1968, you don't have much change in the zombie genre. I mean, Night of the Living Dead in 1968 is thought of as kind of when the modern zombie started, the slow rambling, like literally coming back from the dead kind of way. He didn't get that idea from nowhere. He adapted it from other places. There are other examples that came out kind of even before that, but this is the first. Like most people say, this is the modern era. This is when it starts. Night of the Living Dead, 1968.
That's when the zombies really got that cult following.
Right.
The genre would have been right around that time.
So we'll get to it at the end because I have a whole paragraph or two of things to kind of finish us off with. But so in 1968, when that movie came out, the Walter Reed Organization, which was the film company that released Night of the Living Dead, forgot or just failed to place the copyright on the pictures or on like the beginning of the movie. I guess what happened was they changed the name of the movie from I think it was originally like Night of the or Night of the Eaters or Night, there was some other name, and then they changed it to Night of the Living Dead because it made more sense. And I guess they just forgot to put the copyright on. And
wow.
Copyright law at the time required that symbol or that to be on there when you disseminated it publicly to actually count.
Wow.
So because they forgot it, that movie really made George Romero, it made him a household name, but it also made him no money.
That's crazy.
That's why that movie was as popular as it was, because basically after, a little while, every TV station that was like, we need to air a schlocky movie at noon on Saturday went, well, that one's free and people like it. Done. Because it kind of instantly became public domain.
That's cool.
So,
I mean, not for them, but cool for everyone else.
Whoever dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, somebody definitely dropped the ball, and that's why there's so many sequels that are not authorized or not done by George Romero. But and I said, I've got some things to say about it later that kind of when we kind of wrap it up. But
okay.
But this gets us on to so where do you sit with the slow zombies? So I'm talking Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, 68, 78, 85, the rest of the Romero series, Shaun of the Dead, The Walking Dead, that style, the slow kind of shambling, rambling, or the fast zombies. So you're talking like World War Z, the remake of Dawn of the Dead, Army of the Dead, the 28 Days Later style. Mm-hmm. Where do you guys sit on that fence?
Yes, personally, I like slow, but I mean, obviously, the fast are a lot more intense and scary. They make for a more scary movie. But slow is just, so iconic.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to, go against that.
Yeah, I'd agree with this more slow pace because I feel like that if there was that something that would cause a zombie outbreak after you've already if you come back to life, I feel like you're going to be a slow moving. You're not going to be this fast running, and it's just going to kind of when you're overtired, you're a zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, have you seen Justin? Have you seen most of or any of the Romero movies outside of the original ones?
Yeah, I've seen most of them.
All right, so Land of the Dead, where there's the Pittsburgh's basically been walled off and it's supposedly zombie free, and they just kind of go out and search for stuff, and then you see the zombies are starting to eventually they kind of say if you leave them alone long enough, their brains start to kind of turn back on. Like they're starting to figure stuff out. Like that's an interesting concept that Romero introduced, towards the end of his little series, where like the zombies were not necessarily getting fast, but they were just starting to get smarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, given long enough, they could evolve. And
I guess they actually
some things.
I guess they actually reintroduced that concept in Day of the Dead when they had Bub, like they were teaching him or trying to, on the army base.
Yeah. That's an interesting way to take it and to improve upon the genre. I mean, and it kind of gives you a sense of urgency, like for the main characters. Like, all right, well, we got to hurry because these fucking things are definitely gaining knowledge. And yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
So you've got also several possible causes of the zombie outbreak. Every movie kind of does its own thing. Some movies just choose not to ever really say what the cause is. That's just like, oh, people are dead and they come back. You've got chemical, you've got infection, you've got radiation, you've got curse. Those are the ones that I could think of. I'm sure if you guys put your heads together, maybe you could come up with a couple other ones. But
if we spent any time on the Google.
I've got a few more that I'll bring up when I go over my list today.
All right. Well, let's do that then. What are your top 3 pop culture zombies? Okay. Or zombie? And when I say zombies, it could be movie, TV, music, video game, anything that you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to go like one at a time, like around, or just go shoot them off all at once?
I guess we could just shoot them off all at once because there's not really going to be like a lot of debate. Like,
right. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
Like, you're wrong.
How dare you? Okay. Well, my first zombie that I chose was Daniel Fortescue from Medieval, the video game for PlayStation 1.
Nice. Good choice. Good game too.
Very good game. Yeah. Well, technically he looks like a skeleton. He's just bones, basically, with a little bit of like, he's got an eye and a little bit of flesh, I think, but he's still a zombie. I mean, he was resurrected by the power of magic, came out of a grave. So that's a zombie. And it's just a really fun game. It's nostalgic. I played it a lot as a kid. They remastered it. So if you have a chance, go check out Medieval. It's a great environment. It really sets the tone for this whole season. And it's kind of a good story. It's about a bumbling idiot who died in battle, and his dad lied about it because his dad was like this brave king, and he's like, well, my son can't be an embarrassment to the kingdom, so he died a hero's death. And then he got resurrected by an evil warlock, who the same warlock that killed him in battle years ago. He got resurrected, and now he's got a chance for redemption and a chance to kill the warlock. So it's a great story, and just an overall fun time. So that's my first one.
Yeah, they just remastered it on PS4 and PS5. So it's
there you go.
I don't think I've ever played it. Is it PlayStation only?
Yes,
it is exclusive. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that would explain why I've never played it.
It's a great time though, if you ever have a chance.
Yeah.
So my number 2 was Jason Voorhees from Part 6. So this is one of the other methods of bringing a person back, and that is lightning. Tommy Jarvis, of course, wants to dig up Jason at the beginning of this film and cremate him to put him to rest once and for all, but lightning and Mother Nature has other plans. Lightning strikes the pole, brings Jason back to life, and creates one of the most fun and fourth wall breaking Jason movies there ever was.
I never would have thought to put Jason on the zombie list. I'm not. You're not wrong.
I tried to go a little outside of the box because I didn't know exactly what you guys were going to be bringing to the table, and I didn't want to step over your zombies. So
that was one of the things I thought too. Was like Frankenstein's monster. I'm like, is that technically it's a zombie because it's brought back?
Yeah.
So I thought about putting that on my list, but I didn't, because otherwise I was going to do Peter Boyle from Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's a good question. What do you think about that, Nicholas?
But
I
I was
was,
like,
I was,
is
I
that
was,
is that its own subgenre of like, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never. I mean, as you were talking about Jason, I immediately was like, well, what about Frankenstein's monster? Yeah, geez, I don't. I've never really thought of him as a zombie before, but I guess technically he falls into that category.
That would change things for my list, but
We should
But
put a poll up on our social media and ask: Is Frankenstein's monster a zombie?
yeah, I don't. I mean, because I mean, I guess not all zombies are like. I mean, not every genre of zombie puts them at like mindless brain, like brain eating, like
yeah, wouldn't it just basically be anything brought back from the dead could be classified as a zombie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't put any of that style of thing on my list.
Well, so do vampires count as zombies? Because don't you have to die first, or do you
Oh,
just get bitten and become a vampire?
You get bit and you become one, but the first one, I don't know how that. I don't know.
Because I thought like zombies were. I mean, I thought vampires are called the undead. So,
Hmm.
hmm.
So then I guess technically they could too, in some sense.
Hmm.
Zombies really branches out far.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I just did research on like classic zombie. I didn't.
That's pretty much what mine was. But yeah, I did have the thought about Frankenstein's monster.
Well, my third is a little more classic, but
All right.
it's from a movie that I don't think you like too much, Nicholas, because I think there was a reaction once when we brought it up, and that is Billy Butcherson from Hocus Pocus.
Oh well,
Excellent one.
Yeah, yeah.
it's. I mean, like I don't hate the movie. I just didn't
Okay.
I just didn't get the obsession that some people have of like the way people are with like Christmas Story or Christmas Vacation around Christmas time, where they're like, we have to watch this movie.
That's
like
fair.
There are people who are like, I must watch Hocus Pocus. It's Halloween season.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Maybe it's a generational thing.
maybe.
It was the 90s and right around that era when I was a spongy brain kid.
Ah,
So, but yeah, I mean, he's just just a funny character, played by Doug Jones. Makeup kind of looks like Edward Scissorhands a little bit. And his story, of course, is that back in the day, he was poisoned by Winifred Sanderson because he went after her sister. So she killed him, and then, of course, later on in the movie, she brings him back through magic. So another body that's resurrected through magic, and yeah, just a fun character from a fun movie,
Okay.
a must watch.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's an interesting list.
Oh, I do have some honorable mentions too, but maybe I'll
Okay.
save them until you guys are done, so I don't step over any of yours.
All right.
Yeah.
I've got some honorable mentions as well.
Me too.
Okay.
All right. I knew when I limited it to 3 that amongst just how we always operate that we weren't going to be able to keep it to 3. But
Yeah.
all right, Justin. Let's hear your 3.
Yeah, you said to do 3, so I wrote down 11. Well, I too had Billy on my list,
Nice.
so I'll move on from that one. This is in no particular order. Like I said, I just wrote some of them down. Solomon Grundy, I put on
okay.
there as one of the top. Well, I have in my top 5, but it was probably my top 3. Especially, being a DC fan, and especially I really like what they did with him in like the Injustice games. Like he's a really good character in that stuff, and he's always been kind of entertaining, especially in like the animated stuff and the movies. And I didn't read a lot of the comics with him in it, so I don't know too much about his comic work.
I mean, I'm aware of who he is through Injustice and the Lego games, and he was in one of the 3 Arkham games, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm aware of him. Like I've seen him in the animated stuff, but I don't remember if I've ever encountered him in reading the comic books.
Okay, you said Billy, so I'll take him off. I also have the Night King from Game of Thrones.
Okay. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I believe he would be classified as a zombie.
Yes.
Um, did you not watch Game of Thrones, Jeremy?
I did not.
Oh, really cool character. He's one of the main villains that I think throughout the whole series.
yeah, pretty much right up to the end.
Yeah, cool character, extremely cool looking too.
Oh,
They did a
okay.
good job of creating him.
Cool.
So I have him on there as one of my top three. I don't know why I really like that character. It could be the iciness of his heart, the fact that he's always in the cold. Very, very relatable.
Do you should we mute Jeremy real fast and have a quick sidebar on the Night King?
I don't know if we need to mute him.
Yeah, I just won't say anything anyways. It's okay.
Well, I don't want to. Do you plan on watching Game of Thrones anytime soon?
I mean, at some point in my life I will, but you could go right ahead. You could say whatever you
All
want
right.
about the Night King.
I personally didn't have a problem with how he got taken out, but I know a lot of people did. What was your feeling on season 8 of Game of Thrones?
I didn't hate it. I actually thought it was pretty good. It wrapped things up nicely. His death, it wasn't a bad way to go out. Not the way a lot of people thought.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were hoping for something other than
What happened.
Yeah, than the little one showing up and
Yeah.
But like I do wonder if Jess and I sitting down and over the course of like 2 months burning through all 8 seasons, like not having that like 2-year break in between 7 and 8 or however long it was.
Yeah, it was about 2 years.
Yeah, we didn't have that like buildup of what's this gonna like talking about like what's gonna happen and we watched season 1 through season 8. Like we seriously did it in like 2 months. Like if it even took us that long, we were burning through like 2 or 3 episodes a night. Like that's all we watched was Game of Thrones. So like we didn't have a chance to be like, ooh, like this is gonna happen or that's gonna happen or like we didn't have that 2 years to really kind of like fixate on, ooh, how's this gonna end? So like we just went right into it. I didn't hate season 8 the way a lot of other people seem to.
I think a reason a lot of people hated it was because of that big gap. They were just kind of disappointed. But like you said, where you watched it all within a certain span, it all just flowed together.
Right. And like some of the things that happened make sense because like you just saw it. Like if you watched season 8 and you never rewatched like some of the original stuff, you might have forgotten about some of the little things that happened. Where like if you're watching it like, like you're knocking out a season a week,
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So some of that little stuff pays off immediately. Like I guess like maybe the same thing with Harry Potter. Like I sat down and I read all 7 books. Yeah. Like I read all 7 books like over the course of a summer. Like
I wasn't told to do any of the research on books.
No. but like so like I didn't have to wait a year or 2 in between each book. Like I was just like, okay, and I'm reading the next one. Like it was like, okay, I finished this one, I'm gonna pick this one up. Like I just had them in a stack, It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like maybe, I don't know, I don't remember hearing people yell and scream about the end of Harry Potter the way I did hear about the end of Game of Thrones, but
right.
All right, for that, back to zombies.
And the third one, I'm gonna skip that one. The third one I put on my list is Rob Zombie.
Nice.
Oh,
good
wow.
zombie. Outside of the box thinking there.
Man, I can't believe I didn't even put that on honorable mention. Man, I'm disappointed with myself.
Movies, great.
Yeah.
I liked his Halloween remake.
I agree.
I thought they were actually pretty good. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the best concerts I've ever seen was Rob Zombie. So
does he get like really theatrical on stage?
He does. He brings out like a big, I don't know if it's technically a robot, big machine.
Cool.
He's got that on. He's got like the different pyros and everything. It was awesome.
Nice.
He was on right before Korn because it was one of the Mayhem festivals. And he just blew the house down. Like, everyone called for an encore. He came back out, did more stuff. I think Korn came out, did like 2 songs, and just left because like Rob Zombie stole the entire show.
Sweet. Nice.
So I had to put him on my list as one of my top 3 favorite zombies.
Good pick.
I like his music.
Zombie,
I like-
comma Rob.
I'm a bigger fan of his music than I am his movies, but I've not actually seen the Halloween remakes. To this day, the only Halloween I've seen is the one that I did a review for. So check that out.
And what is that called? If people want to find that.
Horror Through the Decades. It's on the Media Pod Smash YouTube channel.
All right.
I believe it's also streaming on Spotify.
It is. If you want to just listen to it, it is streaming on Spotify.
Yes.
If you don't want to look at my at my moneymaker,
No, especially like what was it? Was it Twisted Metal? Had like almost his entire soundtrack from Super Beast, that album on there.
Yeah.
So he has to go on my list.
All right.
Nice.
Okay. So we'll go with my top 3. This is probably in order, but like talk to me next year, it might change. I don't know. Number 1 will probably never change. Shaun of the Dead.
Good one. Yeah.
Number 2, 28 Days Later.
Oh, see, I didn't go with movies. I went with actual zombies.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead would be one of the top zombie movies, but I was going with characters.
The zombie cast of
Yeah.
See, that is well, then you're probably not going to like number 3. Night of the Living Dead, 1968.
I think me and Jeremy had a different idea of what we were doing.
Well,
yeah,
that's
we were
why
confused.
I that's why I repeatedly said like movie, TV, video
I
game.
think, you were just broadening up the characters we could pick.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean that led to some more interesting discussion. That's not. It's not. You didn't handle it wrong because the topic was kind of open for interpretation. It was.
I feel like we got gypped by putting all this extra work and looking up all these characters.
All right. I mean, my favorite 3. Okay, then my favorite 3 zombies. Rose McIver from iZombie.
Liv Moore.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, she was on my top 5.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. I mean, your other picks are fine. I mean, it's still zombies.
Didn't the one guy from Shaun of the Dead get turned into a zombie?
Okay. Nick Frost from
and
Shaun of the Dead.
Living in the shed, just playing the game.
Yeah.
And we'll go with Bub from Day of the Dead.
Okay.
Perfect.
There we go. All right. Are you happy? Three zombie characters.
Yes.
All right.
Satisfied.
Yes.
So surprisingly though, we didn't really have a lot of like each other on the list. Now it will be curious to see what the honorable mention is.
Mm-hmm. I've got some good honorable mentions.
Okay.
Same. Are these also just zombie characters, not movies?
Mine are still characters.
All right, so mine are all still characters.
You probably won't like my honorable mention list.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and just list mine off real quick here. First one is James Jones, fantasy zombie. He came back in that 1 year and really had some awesome stats, even enough to make his way onto a t-shirt for fantasy.
Yeah, okay.
So,
all right. Yeah.
So, James Jones, fantasy zombie. All right. Bill Murray in Zombieland, his cameo.
Okay. Not technically a zombie.
Oh, true.
Guy in zombie makeup.
That's true. But, he still, it fits the vibe a little bit.
Right. I mean,
If you want to get me out of technicality, that's
There are
all
no
right.
there are no wrong answers. We've learned.
Yeah, throughout all these years, people should know that. And then our podcasts are zombies because they came back from the dead.
Oh,
Ooh.
all right.
And Stubbs the Zombie from the game Stubbs the Zombie. It's a pretty fun game. It has like 1950s music. Kind of takes place in that 50s idyllic suburban setting. And you play a zombie named Stubbs. It's a good time. Go check it out.
Stubbs the Zombie.
Yep. That's mine.
That was that game. Like, is that a PlayStation exclusive game?
That one is on multiple consoles.
Okay.
So
That was one of those games I always meant to play, but I just never did.
it's a good time. Yeah. If you have Humble Bundle, I think it's on there. They just added it recently to that. It might be on the Game Pass.
Okay, I'll have to look later.
So yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, the honorable mentions I wrote down. Evil Ash from Evil Dead 2.
Mm.
Okay.
I have 2 from, I don't know if you've seen Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
I put Cloris Leachman just because she's a legend. And I put the random zombie that they get to sing Britney Spears with.
I apparently don't remember that movie at all.
The zombie singing Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Maybe I'll have to rewatch this movie because I just don't.
Yeah, based on those 2 things alone, it sounds like I must see this as soon as possible.
Have you not seen it?
I haven't seen it. No.
Oh, it's great.
Pretty sure I borrowed it from you once.
You did.
Okay, yeah. I'd say I know I watched it, but I'm having a hard time remembering it now. I remember liking it.
I put the random zombie from Shaun of the Dead when they first walking.
Okay.
And let's see what the other 2 I got. A zombie TK Baja from the game Borderlands. They had an expansion with the zombie bundle.
Nice.
And then the last one I put on there was Michael Jackson from the Thriller video.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a very classic, iconic
Okay.
one. I figured he needs an honorable mention for being.
Didn't even think of that one. That's a good one.
You guys put a lot more thought into your list than apparently I did.
Well, it's our favorite. Well, it's my favorite season. I don't want to speak for everybody.
I mean, zombie movies are one of my favorite genres, but like I guess like I love the movies and I love the TV shows, but I never really got into the games as much.
Sure.
Like Resident Evil has never really done much for me as a game.
Oh,
Like
how about honorable mention that dog, that zombie dog from first Resident Evil?
Boom. That's a good one.
You know that bastard's coming, but every time,
Yep.
still scares you.
Probably one of the first video games jump scare things to get me.
Yeah,
Every time.
Yeah.
You're just waiting. You're like, I know it's coming. I know it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just never really got into the games. Like, the movies were fun enough to watch them, but like, I've never really gotten into any of the horror games. Like, I just not I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm not a fan. I just, not a style of game I tend to like to play. So,
Sure.
all right. So my honorable mention list, The Walking Dead,
All right.
which I'm gonna put the TV show and the book on the list because I did read most of the book before Neptune closed.
Yeah.
Z Nation, which was just a fun show. Like it was dumb as all get out, but it was so well. The last season was kind of weird, but the first couple seasons of that show were just so much fun.
Didn't Asylum do that?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I believe we have given Z Nation some love on this podcast in the past.
Yeah. I remember that.
Justin, you watched that one, didn't you?
I started it. I didn't get all the way through it.
Okay. Yeah, it gets really weird towards the end when like it become like I don't know. It was one of those shows that like because it started off the rails, like it never really tried to stay on them and it got weirder and weirder and they kept trying to up the weirdness of it. and by the end you're just like man, I'm kind of glad this is over, but at the same time, it was like, all right, that was fun, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zombieland, just as a whole,
Oh yeah.
came very close to being on my top three. I put Night of the Living Dead from 1968 on at number three because of the iconic nature of it. But if you talk to me on any given day, there's a good chance that Zombieland has overtaken that one. That one might even be number two. Um, has any of you seen a movie called Fido?
No, but I've definitely
No.
remembered you mentioning it in the past.
Okay.
But go on.
It is a zombie movie in which it's set in the future of a zombie apocalypse. I mean, it's set like it's 1950 something
Okay.
because everybody's walking around like it's Pleasantville. Um, and they have managed to like completely wall off entire sections of the country, and then they will go out, grab a zombie, bring it in, and like they can tame it, and they turn zombies into like basically slaves. Like once you're a zombie, you're less than whatever, and they turn you into and
Free labor.
I want to say it was Billy Connolly was Fido, like him, like he's like a zombie, and like I don't know, it's funny, but it's also like one of those like kind of well, it does what the horror genre really sets out to do, like it tries to scare you and it tries to do stuff, but the best horror also is teaching you a lesson at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just like I mean that's the problem with a lot of modern horrors. They just want to scare you. They want to get in with the gore and the blah. But where you go back to the original, like the original Night of the Living Dead was also like kind of a polemic against racism as well. You know, same thing with Fido. Fido kind of is teaching you a lesson. If you can find it, it's a little indie zombie movie that I saw, and I loved that movie. It was so good.
Cool. I'll check that out.
So I guess I misunderstood my own instructions.
Oh, that or we
Because-
misunderstood them.
Yeah, it could have been us.
Oh,
Well, I'll tell you what. For next week, I've been working on my top three, and
Movies?
and no, they're so far the two that I've got definitely locked into number one and two are characters.
Okay. All right.
after the podcast, I'll need a refresher on what I'm supposed to do next week.
Okay, all right. I don't know. Do we want to tease out what next week is, or do we want to have people come back and just learn at the time?
Well, that's up to you. What do you think?
I mean, it could be bewitching to keep people in the to keep people in the dark.
Ah,
Ah,
nice.
can really hone in on our craft.
Oh, wow. You guys are killing it tonight.
Just
I wish I was that quick. I got nothing. I got no puns.
all right. Well, then to kind of bring the zombie thing to an end anyway. I wrote this little paragraph here. So basically, it's my contention that the popularity of the movie of the original Night of the Living Dead, the 1968 version, and the failure to copyright it basically created the genre that we have now. Due to the ability to show it on TV all the time and people freely being able to find it, watch it. I mean, there's countless numbers of VHS and DVD editions because basically it's hard to stop. Like the Romero family or whoever originally owns it, it's hard to stop because of the copyright laws. You freely created sequels like Return of the Living Dead, which is they were trying to say it was a sequel, but like really when you watch it, it's just a crazy balls to the wall, like off the wall sequel that has nothing to do with the original. It also has Scream horror legend Lena Quigley getting completely naked and for no reason.
Hmm. All right.
But if you watch that one, it's bizarre and it's fun. But they did a whole series of Return of the Living Dead. But it's my contention that without them forgetting to copyright it, I don't know if the genre grows the way that it does. I mean, obviously, having that movie be good and being very popular and making a big statement at the time in 1968 helped, but basically being able to kind of freely copy it and nobody saying, "Well, we own the word zombie," you know,
Hmm.
or we own this concept or something like that, allowed for this genre to basically, because I mean, in the scheme of things, I mean, you said you found literary references back to the 1600s, but I mean, in the scheme of like, some of the bigger all-time monsters, like Dracula's been around for centuries, vampires have been around for centuries, witches have been around for centuries, the werewolves, the lycanthropes have been around I mean, they've all been around forever. Zombies, I mean, some of the first movies were those guys. I mean, you look at the Universal Monster series, and they all include that. The zombie genre is a relatively newcomer, but it has kind of taken over and dominated the field. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like it's also really easy to do. You just need a bunch of people, make them look dead. There's not a whole lot of special effects to it.
right.
So you
Absolutely.
could probably do a lot of low budget ones too.
Hmm.
Set it in a small town with a bunch of folks.
Maybe that'll make someone's list in the future.
Yeah.
And if you ever get on some of those low budget sci-fi or horror genre Roku channels, there are tons of bad zombie movies.
Yeah.
Even some sci-fi originals.
Yeah.
Asylum has done enough. You know what zombie movie we didn't talk about?
Zombievers.
Tom Beavers. Oh man, that's a good one.
Zombie Shark.
Well, that one isn't so good. No, I'm surprised it didn't make either one of your top list. Zombie Strippers.
I thought about it, but I don't remember any of the characters from it.
Oh,
yeah.
I think that's one of the few movies that Jenna Jameson acted in where she wasn't doing what she's famous for.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Metaphorically and physically sucking.
Yeah. It was bad. I do remember the one scene where the one girl was launching ping pong balls from a particular part of her anatomy to kill zombies.
Classic.
Yeah, that one was.
Yeah, somehow that
Robert Englund's in that too, isn't he?
Yes, I think he's the strip club owner. Somehow, when you became a stripper, you became a better zombie. No, when you became a zombie, you became a better stripper. If memory serves, was the overall plot of that movie.
Oh.
I think so.
Interesting.
I guess you're more limber.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, that one was that.
Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to put that on there.
No, that one didn't make the list. So
No.
So I guess, well, is there any? I mean, we've got our honorable mention list, but now is there anything you've thought of since that? I mean, you just thought of Zombievers. I can't believe I forgot that one.
Yeah, that is a good one actually. That movie was surprisingly like not that bad, right?
Yeah, wasn't
From
terrible.
what I remember.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Zombies was
Yeah.
Zombies was terrible, but it was fun.
That was garbage.
That's when a zoo becomes infected and all the zoo animals. And so if you've ever wanted to see a zombie giraffe try to eat people,
Or a zebra.
I do want to see that.
or a zombie gorilla, I think is.
Sounds awesome.
That would actually be terrifying. A zombie gorilla.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Geez, I don't know. I mean, I can think of maybe some more games like Dead Rising. That's always a good one.
Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead. Yeah, yeah. Call of Duty Zombies.
That is true. There was that whole there was that brief period of time where, like, for no apparent reason, they just started putting zombies in, like, Red Dead Redemption and Call
Yeah.
of Duty and
Yeah.
like a couple other of those war games are like, oh, there's a zombie expansion pack.
Yeah.
What's that other one? There's that. I don't think it's like not Snowpocalypse, but there's that one with the Nazi zombies.
Oh
Dead
yeah.
Cells?
Could be.
Yeah.
I just
Dead
remember
Cell.
the cover's got like a headless, like the zombie head sitting there with the swastika on his head.
Yeah, Nazi zombies. That's a whole nother subgenre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another one that popped into my head, but I'll leave that one for when we're done recording. I don't know what kind of thing it's going to spark, so I'll just hold that one.
Okay.
Are you sure? Because it could be fun. Or we
All right.
could.
I was going to say Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah, I do know a lot of people who try to make that joke or try to say that, but I think that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I don't know if I'll bring that one up. That just popped into my head.
Um,
I'm not commenting on that one.
all right. Well, then, if you find yourself out in the middle of nowhere and a small horde of people come shambling upon you, are you
What happens if you find yourself craving brains?
find yourself craving brains, or you find yourself in a strip club where all the strippers are strangely tinted green and seem to have more of an interest in your brain than your wallet?
That's
Remember,
the kind of relationship I want.
remember that stupid never walks alone.
Yeah. Brains.
Brains.